Hello, I'm going to come to Keir Starmer's taking of money from people connected to the oil protests, but I'll come to that in another video. For now, I think if you go to Chiswick, have you noticed the Hogarth roundabout? And it's the Hogarth roundabout because Hogarth lived next door. Just like there's the Turing Road up north, and there's the tiny little road in Oxford dedicated to the wonderful poet who died, I think, in the late 1980s. In fact, we shared a house at one point, Elizabeth Jennings. People are not roads, but I think it's a great way to remember the importance of people to our society as we do our daily commute. I don't deny for 1 minute the net zero campaign, and I think it's important. Maybe we need to be naming a few roads, net zero. Maybe that's one of the ways to anchor these ideas more firmly in our routine life, rather than throwing powder everywhere. And I don't decry the effort to reform teaching, to sort out teachers' pay, which I think is too low, to get our railways working, and to ensure that people who are working so hard on the railways are rewarded and nurtured. But I think the union, the various unions that are supporting these issues are locked into a 1960s mindset, and the various businesses and employers are determined to ride out the strikes, and the government, of course, to ride out the strikes, even if the customers suffer, even if ordinary people suffer appallingly. We have to rethink the concept of withdrawing labour, the concept of highlighting problems, of mounting actions. Can we, for example, I mean, I was delighted about this one. Can we make the countryside more inclusive, for example, by erecting signs to Mecca? Yes, we can. It's not a silly point, because someone will need to pray, and it's a great initiative. We should have more such signs all over the country. That way, Mecca. Equally, the blackout performance in the East End, free from the white gaze, tremendous idea. I'm not entirely sure that it's the right direction, but it certainly caused a fuss as to the LGBTQ plus area in Epsom, Derby. Epsom, I know Epsom well. I lived on Tottenham Corner while we were doing Panto. Both these initiatives project a message of education within entertainment, but they also, I think, unlike the Mecca signs, promote exclusion rather than inclusion. They risk patronizing their target communities. They risk alienating others in a way that I think the Mecca signs do not. The Mecca signs are tremendous. But, you know, together with that, I think one has to think about how we move forward into the next stage of our history, and how we take what we've already got with us. We shouldn't have to purge the past to cement the future. We should engage and not exclude. So, taking down the Waterhouse painting, I don't know if you know it, but it's a tremendous painting of the Lady of Shalott. The mirror cracked from side to side, if you remember. The Lady of Shalott. Not a terribly good poem, one of Tennyson's. It goes on and on and on. It is tremendous fun, but it's not a great poem. But the painting is tremendous of the Lady of Shalott by Waterhouse. And in the Tate's rehanging, it's been removed. It's a subject of purgation. It's been purged. Why would you get rid of some of the Pre-Raphaelites? The Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood was a significant step towards the vitality of the modern, the impressionist. It anticipates impressionism, the idea of painting in fresh air, taking your painting outside, painting from nature, painting from reality, realism that fuels the imagination. It's a formality in Hunt and Millet and so on. It's a formality that anchors even people like Edward Lear's nonsense. That precision is what generates, is what inspires the Mavericks. It's the springboard for so much madness. Dadd's Fairies, D-A-D-D, and John Martin's visions of hell and heaven and pandemonium. These things don't come out of nowhere. They come out of the oppressive obsession with formalism. And that's very much part of the pre-Raphaelite thing. The Tate goes much further. Spencer Gore is contextualized, and even Georgian furniture is referenced as mahogany produced from enslaved people in the Caribbean. But at least that is on exhibition. That's there. It's not being purged like the Waterhouse. Why get rid of the things from the past? Contextualize them. I mean, even if we started by referencing Hogarth. So even if we look at the Hogarth stuff, Hogarth, the grandfather of satire, the grandfather of modern satire, the grandfather really of private eye, there's comments next to some of the Hogarth pictures that it's good to know and it is good. It's good to know that the punch they drank, the tobacco they smoke are material links to the wider world of commerce, exploitation, and slavery. Yes, but what we really also need to know, in order to contextualize this man's work, is that is that he's a direct inspiration for Gilray, the cartoonist, for Gavin Gordon, for Stravinsky. His impact is enormous. And yes, he is referencing, and he's living in an age which was defined by commerce and by exploitation. Absolutely. We must never forget that. And so to the Chelsea Flower Show. Monty Don has said that it's too white, middle class, and middle aged. So energize it with something new and vital, not saffron dust. Why are we not thinking about the great past of the garden? Why are we not thinking about celebrating the Islamic gardens? Right, even the word paradise is simply the Persian word for garden. So these activities in galleries, the great summer events which we're coming to, all of these should be inclusive, not exclusive, and we can harness them to look to the past and at the same time to look to the future. And I think, we need to find more interesting ways to revitalize our messages and to bring the public with us rather than to alienate them. Why, for example, do the oil people not have a pitch in the Chelsea Flower Show? Why not? Surely somebody can. Surely somebody can fund that, and that would be so much more effective, I would have thought, than throwing saffron dust everywhere. We need to be more creative with the way we get messages out, because the message is to encourage support, not to alienate people. The only people who want to alienate are the people who are denying people who work very hard, people who are denying them a decent pay. And on that subject, of course, I don't understand why the government is proposing to give foreign workers £10,000 for relocating and can't be bothered to actually up the amount of money that is should be paid to nurses and to doctors and to teachers here, who are already working hard. I don't understand. I really don't understand. I think we're just wasting our funds by being enslaved to ideology, whether that's the ideology of this is how you do an action, or it's the ideology of this is my position and I will spend as much money as I possibly can to defy you, which I'm afraid is Suella Braverman. You knew I'd reference her at some point today, didn't you?